Here goes nothing. Good morning, good morning. I hope I see the wheel spinning. I hope this thing is on and working. Give it another second to click in. Okay, so good morning. My name is Liz and I'm here on behalf of Class Act to create some really fun cards with you guys today for Inspirational Thursday. And I thought I would play around with something that I don't normally get a chance to play with, which is this really pretty, fun printed acetate. So it came in a sheet of 12 by 12. Did I grab a 12 by 12 to show you guys? No, I did not, but it's really pretty. So I pre-cut everything up and I figured out what I was going to try to make with it. So for the first card, I'm actually going to show you guys how you can fussy cut around the flowers, or if you had a die, you could die cut out shapes. But I just wanted to give you guys an example of how to cut it. For the next one, we're going to make this fun sort of floaty card, where basically when you stand it up, you get the layer of acetate and then you get the card base as well. So it doesn't really translate on video as well as I had hoped, but it looks really cool in person. And then for the last card, I mean, you can't have acetate and not do some sort of shaker. So that's kind of what I thought we were going to do for today's video. So without any further ado, let's just start with the fussy cut style card. So for this one, I did a card base using some scrap papers that I had in my stash. I made, your traditional card base, which is 4.25 by 5.25 by 5.5. And then I cut a smaller blue panel to be 5.25 by 4, and then an even smaller pink pattern polka dot panel to be, let me just give you the correct measurements. I want to say 3 3/4. Yep, 3 3/4 by 5. So there you go. So just shrinking it a little bit each time. And then I have this awesome sort of, I would call it a scrap now of that wonderful acetate. And I really like the flowers in it. So I thought to myself, let's do some fussy cutting. So, the real problem is figuring out which flowers you want to incorporate on your project. I know I really love this little orange guy, so I'm probably going to cut this a little bit down at the top because I'm not going to use the whole thing. And then I'm just going to fussy cut along the side here and use that as sort of my card front. So grab my paper trimmer. There we go. And just going to double check my measurement. I think I said this one's 5, but yeah, it's 5. So we're going to cut it and make sure that we have a solid 5 inches where this flower is. Let's just show you guys on camera. So right where this flower is, I want to make sure that I'm even at the 5 mark. And then I'm just going to trim this little piece off the top because it's not going to make the cut, unfortunately. Okay. Set my trimmer off to the side, set that off to the side. And now we're just going to go in with our scissors. And I'm just going to kind of do my best to cut along the flower pattern. I'm just going to cut right down here, make that easier for myself. So far, so good. And then I'm going to set this piece off to the side. I can always use this again for something else, or I could die cut a little heart or something with it and use it for another project. But I just think this one is so pretty, so I wanted to see all the different ways that I could use this printed acetate to do some really cool stuff. And these different ways of using it, you can also incorporate in your journals or your scrapbook layouts. It doesn't have to be cards specifically, but I feel like they were just the best way to showcase my various techniques. Do my best to cut around these leaves. the nice thing is it's also clear. So even if you're not like an amazing fussy cutter, no one's really going to know. Oh no. My assistant has awoken. That's our cat, Luna. Alright, so I think I've done a pretty good job fussy cutting the pieces that I want. And now all I have left to do is adhere it to the card and add a cute little sentiment. So I'm just using Dry's Clear Glue. It is amazing because it indeed dries clear. So I used it to affix this one earlier, and you can't even tell where I placed it. I was also strategic, so I put it in the center of the flowers and mostly on the green parts. So yeah, no one would be the wiser. So we're going to see if I can repeat that on this one. Hey Luna, you want to come say hi? There she is. Oh no. Luna, what did you do? Sorry, technical difficulties. She likes to walk across my computer. Not cool when you're live. Alright, so I'm just like very strategically placing some glue wherever. Oh, she's messing up all my stuff. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop it off to the side here, and voila. Next, I'm going to add a cute sentiment, and I used, to make multiple sentiments really quickly, this awesome Better Press plate and die set from Spellbinders. This one is a Dina Wakley one, but it says awesome things like, thanks for always being there, sparkle like you mean it, I'm so glad I know you, thank you, truly, you're simply wonderful, don't be tamed, hello my friend. So for this one, I'm going to use hello my friend. I think that will be cute. I'm just going to add a smidge of glue and place it sort of off to the side here. I think that looks really cute. And there we go. Our first fussy cut example is complete. Set that off to the side and on to the next. So for my next trick, we are going to attempt a shaker card. So again, using the scrap panel that I have, I'm going to cut it down to be, for this one, I'm going to be 4 1/4 by, sorry, I'm going to cut it down to be 4 inches by like 5 1/4, I believe. Oh no! She's attacking my feet. She got scared. Okay. So here we have my paper trimmer. 5 1/4. I think I'm going to lose maybe some of the orange for this one. There we go. This way, when I line it up with this paper, which is going to be my background, it fits, and then I'm going to have a little border around this card. Make sense? Okay, hopefully. So next thing I need is my foam tape, because that's going to actually keep my bling inside of the card. So I have this awesome large roll of foam tape, but you can use any size roll of foam tape. I'm just going to start with the edges and trim off the excess in a minute and set those scraps aside for another project where I need foam tape. There we go. Little boss is sitting in my chair now. Oh. There we go. I'm using large blings, so I don't think the little gap there matters too much, thankfully. But if you're using like smaller bling or like a very fine glitter, the gaps do matter. For me, not so much. Okay. Excellent. And now, as I said, I'm just going to trim off these guys. Set them aside for later. I always need foam tape for everything, so if you're like me and you like to add some dimension to things. Good morning, Bella. I just saw your comment. I'm sure you commented it earlier. I'm sorry. Thanks for joining me. Okay, now I gotta find some bling. I have some Class Act bling here, so that's what I'll be working with. But again, you could use like the confetti style bling. You could use all kinds of stuff. That should be enough. And then, I don't know if it matters, but I'm going to turn these guys upside down before I trap them in here, only because I want the bling to show through on the front. Does that make sense? Hopefully. I don't know if it matters, if it's all going to get shaken up anyway, but for my own peace of mind, let's just pretend that this makes a difference. Just trying to drop them in place. The little ones don't want to drop. That's okay. You're out of here. There we go. Okay, so now that they're all facing the right way, I'm just going to gently peel off my adhesive, and maybe I'll do Carol's dog ear trick, just so I can place my panel where I want it to be. Yes, fold out my dog ear this way. Okie dokie. So now I'm just going to take my cardstock, make sure I line it up along the edges as best I can. Excellent. And then peel off the tape once I know she's roughly where I want her to be. I have a little bit of overhang on this guy. Off he goes. And now we have a cute little shaker. So again, for the shaker, next step is adding a sentiment. For this one, it's like party colors, so I'm going to use the Have an Epic Birthday sentiment. And I think I'm going to place it up here at the top. I'm just using dry clear glue because it is like plastic, so I want to make sure I lock my sentiment in place. And last but not least, I'm just going to adhere everything to the base. I'm just using my glue so I can shimmy it around if needed. But I'm running low on glue. Gonna have to pick some up for next time. Alright. Shuffle it around until I'm happy. Those are cleared. There we go. Shuffle that back. Okay. And voila. Card number 2. So fun. Alright. And now for our last one, we're going to do this sort of like fun floaty card. So you can do this using clear acetate and it looks amazing. It's like a window and then you can put like a little die cut or something right in the center and it's like floating. But because this one's printed, I thought it might be fun. Say hi. Okay. So for this one, I have cut a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. And then I cut 2 little panels. I think this one's about an inch by 4 1/4. That's going to go at the bottom. And then this one is about 3 inches by 4 1/4. And this one I'm going to score and fold over and attach it to the back. So I'll show you what that looks like in a second. And last but not least, we have this beautiful printed acetate. I am actually going to trim this one down a little bit just because I like the look of like edges. I feel like that gives it more of a floaty effect when we have the card open, but totally optional. You could keep it at 4 1/4 across, and that's fine too. That's my range. Okay. So now the hard part is deciding where I want to trim things. Do I want to lose some of the blue or some of the white? I'm going to go with blue because I really want to give it that floaty effect. So I'm going to trim this. Oh goodness. You know what? I'm going to trim both sides. So I'm going to take like a smidge off of here. Awesome. And then I'm going to take another smidge off of here. So I'm going to make this panel, let's do 3 3/4. I think that will look good. So now I'm left with this, which is a little bit thinner than that. Does that make sense? Leaving a bit of a border, I guess, along the edges. So now, with my handy-dandy score pal and score tool, I'm going to take this black panel, this like thicker one, and I'm going to score it. Of course, this is metric. So I'm just going to eyeball it, leaving a bit of a gap to stick onto here. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay, so now just going to magnet this in place, and I'm going to stick on this bottom portion. How am I going to stick it on, you may ask? Glue. Maybe. Alright, good enough. So again, this is roughly 1 inch wide. I'm just going to line it up with the edges. And boom, there's the bottom of our card. Okay, now, for this panel, I am going to take my double-sided adhesive, which the cat knocked off my desk. Thank you very much, Luna. And I am going to stick it along the inside of the back. Yeah, we'll call this the back, sure. Add a little bit more, just to make sure it is firmly in place. And now, so I have this, I'm going to set that off to the side. And then we have our card base, if you will. So now I'm just going to line up the card base. And I'm just going to butt it right along the score line here. Luna, if you walk across my computer. There we go. So like this. And then I have this awesome little fold piece. That's where I'm going to adhere the acetate. So again, just putting some tape or glue across the top. Maybe I'll do both just to make sure it really sticks on. Maybe. Then again, maybe not. There we go. A little bit of glue is better than no glue. Okay, so now, when I take this and I put it back down here at the bottom, just going to put it right along the edge here so that it can fold over, and voila. So now I end up with this really cool sort of floaty window. Again, if you have like a die cut or you wanted to like float your sentiment across the clear window, that would be pretty cool. I also have these like scraps. They don't really show up here, but I did use them to decorate this one. But I thought I'd change up the color scheme for this other one. So, I don't know. I don't know where to put the sentiment. Maybe we put it at the top? Change it up a little bit. There we go. Shake, 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 shake. Excellent. I'm thinking right across the top there. And it says things will work out. That's cute. And since I have bling in all this black space, I think I'm just going to use a little bit of bling and decorate it. Make it look pretty. Right, Luna? Luna agrees. She's so opposite of helpful, but she's cute. Yeah, you are cute. Okay. Oh, thank you, baby. Stick some bling on just to zhuzh it up. Oh. There we go. And here we have our floating acetate card, Luna approved. So yeah, I hope you guys got a little bit of inspiration for different ways to play with like printed acetate. It was really fun to play around with. So if you have any other suggestions, let me know and I'll see what I can do for a future session. I just noticed Susan said that's pretty. Thank you, Susan. Carol says good morning. And Bella says, oh, so cute. Awesome. So that concludes my session for this morning. Thank you all so much for tuning in, watching on replay, interacting. That's always appreciated. And I will catch you all in the next one. Okay, bye.